deal. I believe what I'm about to present to you today deserves a beautiful top. Now, I did a TCA peel, so I obviously have to go quite high up. And the only thing I have that's high up that's sleeveless is a cashmere turtleneck, which is not going to happen. And this is wet because it is literally 90-something degrees out. I think it's close to 100, and the humidity is quite high for Los Angeles standards. It's so hot that when you go outside, it feels like the sun is beating on your skin, even when you're in the shade. But the problem is this is going to continue for another week, which means I couldn't shoot for a week, which is not going to happen. So this is the best I can do. It's wet because I'm putting this cloth around me to try to keep me cool, and now I'm just putting it on my bare legs. Let's get into it. A couple of days ago, I presented to you this palette, which is Candeur et Seduction. And I love this. It's great for an evening palette. And I suspected that the second one, which is Candeur et Provocation, would be better for day. And I think it might be. But let's do some comparison swatches before we get into it. This is the Seduction, and my hands are a little sweaty, so the swatches aren't so great, but there's the Seduction. And here is the Provocation. As you can see, it's quite a bit lighter. What's interesting about this one is it's two pinks in different intensities and a brown, and it also has a shimmer, which you can't see, which is a little more pink than this shimmer, which is more like a ballet pink. So that's what we have going. I don't think they are similar, although I do think they would marry together very, very nicely. But the Seduction is decidedly darker than the Provocation. Spray my face a little bit. I have to get out of the way of the fan. Oh, that's helpful. These kinds of sprays can actually make your skin drier because you get the transit epidermal evaporation. They're best when you use them and then do something to lock it all in. But in my case, I am hot and I'm sweating. So I just kind of want to help my poor little body temperature out. So usually when I do a palette review, I will do one or two looks, but I'll do both eyes today, just in the interest of time and preservation of my body. This time I'm going to do two different looks, one on each eye. So let's do this one first, and we're going to start with this brown, and we're going to take it into the so-called crease. And my lids, I actually put concealer on, and I powdered it, which I usually don't do, but I did shoot something else this morning which will never see the light of day, because not only is it hot and humid, but it's cloudy, and well, everything looked great when it wasn't cloudy. When the clouds went over it, it looked pretty bad. With this shade now on the inner third. And by the way, I played with these yesterday, and when I did, I just kind of pulled my lid taut to see what they would look like if you really burnish them in. And if you're younger, you are completely tight on your lids and you don't have anything going on. And this shade in particular, it was amazing. I'm just going to wipe that brush off and work on the blend here. So I'm turning this horizontal because I don't want to move it up. I just want to have a nice fade. There. I'm going to take a smaller brush here and go the darkest color on the outer third-ish. Now for me, because when I open my eyes, this goes down quite a bit, if I pull out to the full of my lid, this is going to pull everything down. So I don't go to the end of my lid. Kind of do an inverted V. If you've watched some of my videos, I may have mentioned it before. I don't mention it every time. And if you are someone who has a lovely crease, then this is something you could really work into it in such a nice way, like yay. It doesn't really show up on someone like me. I didn't knock that off, so I'm being super careful. These are a little bit powdery, so you should knock off. And I'm just going to pull that out the teeniest bit. I'm going to mix it with the other pink that is a little bit lighter. This is, I'm trying to do like a day look on this. Now let's go into the liner. I just got one. I got the one called Romance, and I will do a swatch for you. But this is a lovely little pink color. And I'm going to go underneath a little bit so you can get a better idea of what it looks like, because, like most people, I have some pink in my rim, so you might not be able to see that. Do you see what's going on here? It's kind of got a coppery tone to it, but it's not a copper. It's a pink with that sweet little copper. I think it's really subtle but effective. Before I go on to the other eye, I'm just going to change my exposure a little bit if I can, because it looks a little bit bright and I just can't tell until I load everything in. Okay, I think this is going to be the last adjustment I make. While I have this adjustment on, I just want to show you these colors one more time. So this is the liner, this is the palette I'm wearing now, which is Provocation, and this is the Seduction. Let's do a different look on this eye. I'm taking this lighter pink color and it's going all over my lid. So this is the one I put on yesterday, just playing around, where I pulled my lid like this and it got such an incredible sheen to it. Just incredible, not because it was loud, but because it was multifaceted. Multifaceted. But it's hard for me to do in here because I have to put this in my hand to see what I'm doing. And just a nice wash of color there. I'm going in with the darker color right here. Oh, by the way, you guys, I should have mentioned this earlier. Maybe I should do an intro. If I talk about it now, then I guess I won't. But when I was doing a search after I shot the first video, I came upon a Chanel site. Now, Chanel has a lot of sites. They have sites for each language and probably for each region. And I don't know what it was. I do know that it said price available upon request, which is usually what you get when you're looking at really expensive jewelry that you can't afford. But it was weird to see it for makeup. And that site had some information that is not on the US site. And one of the things that they said was, Luca, I'm not sure, Lucha Pica? I'm sure I'm getting that wrong. But the creative director of Chanel considers these to be pinks, not reds. They're just different depths of pinks, which made sense because I went on and on about this saying, is it red? I don't think so. And I almost subtitled it, could it possibly be pink? But I thought I sounded kind of like a lunatic. There's no way this is pink. Yes, it is pink. These are not reds, they're pinks. I'm going in with the brown color. And it just made so much more sense to me. There was some other really interesting information on that site. I'm doing the outer third with this brown. But I cannot, stupidly, instead of just keeping that page open, I closed it and went to the USA site to see if it was there, and it wasn't. There was all this good information about her inspiration, color story, and I'm not sure why it's not on the US site. I'm just going to pull it up a teeny bit, open the eyes, and see the teeniest bit. I'm just going to take a sweat break. A little liner, same way I did here. I'm going to do my waterline, my upper waterline, with this brown pencil. I don't really want that pink there because my skin already shows there, and that is not a look I enjoy. Eyes Finished. I think it's really pretty. Look, I love the first palette, and I think I would wear that during the day. And one of the things I like about the first palette is you could honestly take any of these colors and just do an all-over wash, because they can be put on with some transparency. Let me kind of smooth these out since my hand, well, it hasn't really stopped sweating, but slightly better swatch, smoothing those out. Or you could put something together with these three in one of two ways, and probably many more ways, and I think absolutely works for day. And I can't figure out which one I like best, to tell you the truth, which is interesting. Now let's go into blush. The blush I'm using is not new, and it's not even new to me. I've had this for a while. I keep this plastic thing because I love the scent of Chanel blushes. Oh my goodness, I love it. And this is Rosy Bronze. And there it is right there, and you can see it has some rose to it, and I don't know if it really is bronzy, not in this light, but in some lights I do feel it's a little bronzy. Let's put it on the cheeks. And bring it up a little high. You know, you could drape it a little bit since the colors relate to each other, and even pull it down a little bit so it looks natural. So I'm kind of doing a shape, something like that. Bobbi Brown, actually, her method is blush, 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 and at the very end pull down, because that's a more natural look. And it is. It's kind of common. A lot of people have color down here. I know I do. But there's a lot of people who don't have any redness in their skin, and I envy them. And because I took so much off on the hand, I feel like I'm getting a subtle color. Just pull down a little bit. But there is radiance to this. There's radiance to most of their blushes as far as I can tell. And now on to lip. So I tried on this the other day, and I love this color. It has the depth of a red, but it's a deep, deep, deep pink. It's beautiful. And I think it would be fine with this look, especially in the wintertime. Fine for daytime. But I got Flushed in the Coco Flash, which is very, very popular. And it's also very, very comfortable. I'm not going to line for this, but I do think for my lips, it works better with lining, and I do have a lot of color to my lips, so that's something to keep in mind. They're very comfortable. I do believe my under eyes have kind of sweat off, but it's hard to put on concealer when you're sweating, so I won't be able to correct that. But I really, really love this. I think this is fantastic, fresh for, I think you can wear it now. I don't think you have to wait till the fall, and you can wear it all through the spring. I just think it's actually without season. Eyes closed. As you can see, there's no patchiness with this application. The one I did with Seduction, I had taken off my makeup with micellar water, and I didn't do anything else. And micellar water actually has some oils in it. That's how it takes off makeup. I didn't powder, I didn't do anything, so there was a little bit of splotchiness, but these are not splotchy shadows. I hope you can see how different the application was. And that's going to wrap it up. Guys, I have been editing this, and it just occurred to me, oh, Natasha Denona LOVE. Somebody's going to ask. I'm certainly wondering. So I swatched. This is Natasha Denona LOVE, some colors that I have swatched on my hand that may be similar. This is Seduction, and this is Provocation. And they certainly live in the same world. There is no doubt in my mind. Not exactly the same. The formulation of the Chanel is perfectly lovely, and you know I love Denona's, although Denona's can be a little difficult. If you're more of a Chanel girl, maybe the Chanel. If you're someone who loves these colors like I do, I'm fine with owning all three of them. And if you're someone who prefers Natasha Denona and you miss the Love palette, it's the perfect time to get it, because Sephora is now doing a spend $100, get $20 off. I was going to do a video for that, but you know what? I just did the 3 months away what goes and what stays video, and that's pretty much my favorite things. So if you're wanting to know what my thoughts are on that sale and what I might get, take a look at that. There are many things from Sephora there, a couple of things not from Sephora, but this might be up your alley if the Chanel's just, a little too expensive. And it is expensive. Now the Denonas, some of the formulas of the Denonas can be tricky, where I don't find the Chanel's to be tricky at all, and I find they're kind of sheer, and you can build them up nicely, but not heavily. And yeah, for me personally, I love this color story. I'm here for it. I have no problem owning both of those palettes, plus this one. And now we're either going to wrap it up right here, or I'm going to cut away back to the wrap up. I don't know where I'm going to insert this, if this is my wrap up. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I hope it was helpful to you, and I hope you come back again. Until we meet again, be safe and smart, and I'm wishing you good health.